One more for today. Why the fuck not, man? Is this actually working? Yeah, it is. All right, amazing. So the snow is. I don't want you. I don't want to show you anything. I want you to see. Uh, Straight up, man. Anytime I do something socially, I always retrace. Okay, let's start the story differently. How many of you think, fuck it, what do I have to prove? Yet the people that succeed are kind of the ones that are always kind of dishing out their strengths and what they can do and what they want to do and all this stuff. And it's funny because anywhere you're talking to people, they always kind of they have to sort you out in a certain group. And that's how they always engage with like, give me this, give me that, do this, do that, show me this, show me that. What are you able to produce for me to say yes to you, to acknowledge you, to work with you, to care for you, even? I don't know. There's a whole lot of that shit. So naturally, that's what happens in my head. And then for me, I'm like, why am I doing this? It's a constant. Why am I doing this? And every once in a while, I kind of like deviate from why I'm doing this, and I just do it for the sake of doing it. And I go off on a tangent, and then I get a bit anxious, and then I get back, and then I sit with myself, be like, but I have been doing it, so why, where was I doing it? And then evolve and evolve and evolve, and it's always the case. Kind of move forward from there. But the statement here, I don't want to show you anything. I want you to see. It's kind of like it's a reversal when it comes to the passion that you're actually working for. There's something I want to do, but part of me succeeding in it is others seeing what I'm doing. So naturally, that ends up being part of the work, but it's not part of the work. And it shouldn't be. It should just be the work, and then the work should reveal itself. But it's, I think, through the world of business or the way we evolved, organic evolution and marketed evolution, and our nature was a lot more honest and susceptible. That's why when you hear about something, it must be important enough because back in the day there was no technology. It'll take a while to hear from about it or something. But then these days you kind of like hear about a lot of stuff all the fucking time. So in a way, your existence is kind of dulled down when it comes to the things that you would resonate with or the things that you would accept or appreciate. And I think here is because I don't want to show you anything because it feels like everything you're doing is marketing yourself. I want you to see, but like part, this is part of my work, and I kind of want people to see it. But I don't want to show you anything. As in, my attempt is not to show you something specific to get your attention. It would be interesting for you to see basically what I'm doing. And here is back in the around the time where I started posting on LinkedIn and Twitter, and I wrote it as a note. It's down just in case. Thinking of posting on LinkedIn and Twitter. So that time, what I did was I was like, every time I actually do a video, I do kind of like a small explanation and I describe it. And that ended up being like an interesting ritual and how I explore my writing because the thought processes that we're actually engaging sometimes are completely random. And sometimes they're very much kind of like just saying something beautiful. So there's still always, there has to be a way for me to be able to just explain something about the video. And as I started doing it, I realized that why don't I just post them on Twitter and on Instagram as well? I'm kind of like, sorry, Twitter and LinkedIn, and just basically engage differently. Or use a couple of extra social platforms in order to be able to engage. And I figured by doing that, I could actually like present the honest truth behind whatever it is I'm trying to like do it between YouTube, between like this the project that I'm trying to do, map the social genetics. Fucking beautiful. So it's the social genome project, right? Like it's a project to map the genome of society. But society. It's not people. It's not people. It's society. It's how society, kind of like as an organism, has foundational rules in it. And that's where human nature kind of subconsciously they agree. And so I figured there has to be something behind the story and might as well like get the best of it. And so with that I progressed and I started doing it back then. But it's interesting that this is the actual note that made me start the whole procedure. This note's probably 2.5 months old. Yeah, man. I took a month break just to let you guys know. For 1 month I didn't post at all. And there was 3 weeks as well, like where the posting had already been finished. So there were 3 weeks and a month, or I think maybe 3 weeks, a month and a half total maybe, where I didn't do shit. And so this is like 2 months and a half old, and I did do, I did post and I did write, and I made it part of my daily ritual to do that stuff. So I don't want to show you anything. I want you to see this part. It's kind of like my declaration to why I'm doing this and why it should feel different. Because for the longest time I resisted. Why the hell would I want to do this? Isn't that how we all think? Isn't that how our insecurities kind of get the best of us? Too much effort. There's no point approaching this. Who would know? Who would care? And all that good stuff. There's a whole lot, man, that we actually put ourselves through on behalf of, I guess, on behalf of our own shitty judgment or others' shitty judgment. But most other shitty judgments live in here. So instead of judging ourselves by ourselves, what we do is we judge ourselves by the actual virtue of others. We take a standard that we decided upon for other people to look at us. Imagine all the effort and drama for us to just kind of like stand in our own way. And yet you can literally like do anything you want and just you kind of have to be smart enough to schedule it, I guess, whatever it is, the stuff that you want to be doing. Or just interested enough to want to do it every day. All that good things kind of has to start with your obsessive nature. And I'm remembering that nature. And I did good, and I programmed, and I coded, and I finished. But I stopped abruptly because of like people. It was a time last year, where for like 2, 3 months I interacted with nobody. Barely my parents because I was still living there. I'd wake up every day and I would go, and I'd wake up every day and I would go, and I'd wake up every day and I would go. It's just like one routine over and over and over again. It was beautiful. I think a big part of me was hurt that the website didn't work. But fuck, man, it was the first time it goes this far into production, and it didn't work. And instead of like going around, I kind of like replanned the whole thing because I was using new technology, and new technologies changed a lot. So fuck this shit. Fun times. I don't want to show you anything. I want you to see. I think that's a feeling everyone kind of has, and it drains us that weirdly most of the things that we do in life are kind of not done for their own sake. They're always done with an anticipatory, like, what will come out of it? How would I feel afterwards? What would people say? All that stuff is just kind of like taking away from what I'm trying to do or what you're trying to do, attempting to do. So I don't want to show you anything. kind of like one of those leave me alone, but you're not talking to people, are you? You're talking to yourself. I don't want to show you anything. I just want you to see. Let me do my shit and just observe, enjoy, have fun, get entertained. Why interfere? Why get in your own way? Why include things that don't really like add value to whatever it is that you're doing? Remember, sometimes we're brushing our teeth and thinking, and then we think of something that happened in the past, or like brushing our teeth and singing, and then something comes up and kind of like takes us away from that moment. You start brushing your teeth while thinking about something else, right? There's a whole lot of times where we just kind of like get uncomfortable when something's flowing. I think that's the perfect way to express it. Get uncomfortable when something is flowing. Fun, that should be the end. I don't want to show you anything, man. I just want you to see. I think that's an attitude everyone should approach. I think that's the only attitude that's valid, because that's the only attitude that I think intuitively is honest. Cool beans. Yalla. It's a fucking video, man. I like this one.